Oh, let me switch camera. Ta-da! Hello, happy Tuesday, happy new week. Is it officially spring yet? No, I don't think so yet, right? We haven't got the official announcement. So, but it's warming up a little bit, little by little. So I see a whole bunch of folks here already. Love that. Hi, Linda. Teresa's here. Julie. Hello, Julie. If you're new here or if you're coming back here, do tell us where you're joining us from here in the comments. Oh, I was like, Julie, where are you? Julie from Louisiana. Hi, Robin. Hope everybody's been doing okay. Please do let me know while we have folks jumping in. Have you started one block? Got maybe one done? Or are you playing with fabrics yet? Just let me know in the comments. Oh, Jenny, hello. Oh, sleet and freezing rain this morning. And Wendy's here. Hello, Wendy. And Kathy's here. Yay, you made it. Linda, the captions show up on the replays, but it takes YouTube 24 hours to process the live after we're done. So if you check in like next day around the same time, YouTube has processed the video and you should be able to click on the closed captions and turn it on. On the replays, yes. It's automatically added by YouTube. I'll go and double check. I think, yeah, they've been processing it. I'll double check. If they don't, then I can have it added. It'll probably take me about 24 to 48 hours to process with my software. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, for some reason yeah, some videos I see when it's live, I see captions show up. I think it might be a follower count number, how many people you have viewing your video. I don't know, I'm not sure what the cutoff is for them to automate it. Oh, okay. Janie's, hello. Currently playing with fabrics and basting. I'm in the middle of midterms. I can't sew too much right now. Oh my god, just focus on midterms first, please. And just come back to sewing when you need a little break and give your brain a break. And good luck on midterms. I did not miss those. Midterms and finals. I think any education system, college or postgraduate degrees, any exams, I think takes the fun out of it, in my honest opinion. School would have been so much fun without pop quizzes, exams, and tests. Let's see. Oh, Kathy forgot it was Tuesday and live session. So I quickly started pasting some jewel shapes and outer edge shapes. Yay, awesome sauce! Yeah, I mean, it can take you a while to decide on the fabrics that you want, and if that's the thing you're going through right now, you're just playing with fabric still, take your time. And I know a lot of folks have ordered fabric and it might take longer for it to get to you. Don't stress. I asked if you would be able to make 3 blocks a week. So if you have 3 blocks done by this week, awesome. If not, don't stress about it. I mean, these videos will be up here so you can always come back. And I think you should enjoy it instead of trying to rush through it, right? I thought 3 blocks would be doable, but do let me know in the comments. Let's see. And oh, Carolyn has 1 block totally done and 3 more, 3/4 of the way complete. Yeah, I think once you settle on the fabrics you want and where your colors and whatnot, how you want the placement, these blocks come together really quick. Susan, you're not late. We're just glad you're here. Yay. What? Becky just drove 1,900 miles to home in Colorado from Florida. Ooh, that's a long honking drive. But I'm glad you're back home safe. Let's see. Teresa got my cast off, but still no sewing. Go back for checkup on March 31st. Oh yeah, just take it easy. Just watch and enjoy playing with fabrics, because you can still pet fabrics, right? That doesn't count as sewing. Oh, Salsa's here. Hello. Salsa has not started yet. Do not worry. You are okay. No rush. Oh, look at that. So Wendy's doing one step at a time. She has 8 center hexagons with squares around them. That's smart too. Yeah. I think I'll switch camera here. Like even for my Brenda Riddle based blocks, I did start basting just the hexagons and then playing with these since I wanted my scrappy, and then I added these later. So yeah, totally. If you like to work what's that, conveyor belt style where you're doing one part at a time for all your blocks, then that's totally fine too. But Wendy has basted most of her shapes. Yay! Woo! And Robin has one block cut out. Awesome. Oh, and Susan's working on her double wedding ring while watching. That's great too, Susan. Love it. Yes, I think that's like for a lot of us, right? Lots of different projects going on at one time. But that's just what makes quilting or crafting in general fun, right? Because if you get a little tired of working on just one project, you can just switch off to a different one, and it's exciting and fun again. So definitely rotate your projects if you get bored of just working on one at a time. Let's see. Julie posted some fabric blocks, but not basted. Oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, Julie, you're posted inside the Facebook group, right? If you're not inside the EPP Society Facebook group yet, please do join us. It's the English Paper Piecing Society on Facebook, and you're more than welcome to join us there. And let me type that in here real quick. And let's see. I know Shawnee had like 3 blocks done, right? The face. I need to like piecing. Let me double check that I spelled it right. Hit enter, and there we go. There's the link to the Facebook group, the EPP Society. Groups, yes, okay. Gotta make sure I put the right link in. So yeah, please do go check out. If you are in the group already, keep on sharing your updates. We like to see, whether if you just brainstorming fabric ideas or placement ideas, or even just playing with the coloring page. Still, the coloring page that you get when you sign up for the Sewalong is totally fine. And let's see, did I miss anything? Okay, so remember last week I did my strawberries and kind of lime greeny color one, and then I wasn't too happy with it, so what do? We undo them and we redo it, so it switched out to this. I'm much more happier with it. It's a little busy, but I think it has a little playful feel to it. I'll work with it. I can live with this one. The previous version I was not so happy with all these just solid greens, so I got these little dotted greens instead, and then I switched out the solid greens for these little fun hearts. Oh yeah, it's like super busy, but hey, we'll live with it. This one will become a mug rug. I will add it to my mug rug collection. So what I did was I switched out all the solid greens that I had here started with, and that's the fun with it. When you're just starting to play with one block, you can always switch things out if you're not happy with excuse me, happy with how they look. So all these solid greens became the polka dot green instead. Well, and then I added these little hearts. Fussy cutting these hearts were a little pain in the butt because I noticed the print on the fabric was kind of it wasn't printed straight on grain, so it was a little lopsided, so I had to kind of twist the fabric a little bit, and then fussy cut as much as possible, straight as possible. Let's see. Oh, okay, great, yay! Yeah, it looks much more fun too, right? It's a little ditzy and whimsical and playful, I think. Let's see. I wish I had a different color for the gingham, but this is the only gingham I have in this size, so we're stuck with it. And Teresa asks, can you use different types of fabric and not all cotton. Depends on what you want the what the end use is going to be, and is it all going to be machine washable or will you have to dry clean it? So depending on the mix of fabrics that you use, those are the things that you want to take into consideration. And different material content in fabrics, they'll have different shrinkage ratios too. So if it's most of fabrics these days, depending on are like, well, yeah, I think most fabrics these days, they're pretty much pre-shrunk for you already, meaning they've been processed so that when you wash it, it won't have too much of extra shrinkage. But I would be careful if it hasn't been pre-washed and you think that there might be some discrepancies in the shrinkage when you wash it. So that's the only thing you want to watch out for when you're mixing fabrics that are not 100% cotton. But I think most things, if you wash them on cold, even, like polyester, rayon, linens, wool linen mixes, what else is there? Silk. A lot of silks nowadays you can hand wash on cold, but I don't know if you want mixed silk and cotton, but let's say you did. So I think if you wash everything on cold, you probably will be fine. Is it just going to be a decorative item that you're not going to use and it's not going to be washed? Then yeah, I would just say go ahead and mix them all up. Then that doesn't matter because you're not going to get it dirty to wash it, right? So it depends on what the end use is going to be. That's my official, unofficial answer. But I'm all for experimenting. What kind of fabrics are you thinking of mixing, Teresa? I'm curious. Let's see. Oh, yay! Kathy loves the new green fabric too. Yeah, I think polka dot, you can't go wrong with it, right? I don't know. I try to work with solids and then something always backfires. Like this one, a solid made sense because I had all these other scrappy fabrics, right? So play with your fabrics. Don't get stuck and think that the first thing that you start with that you're gonna have to sit through it even if you don't like it. Just do what I did. Bring out your seam ripper and redo your block. Let's see. Oh, Deborah's here. Hello. Hi, Deborah. Oh, and Kathy, all my fabric papers and templates are home. Can't wait to see it and get started. Yoo-hoo! Exciting! And Linda asked, would you make the whole quilt out of this fabric or would you make each hexie a different set? Really scrappy? Oh, that's a good idea too. Why not? Well, it's your quilt and you're the one, well, I mean, unless you're going to gift it, why not? It's your creation. I say there's no rule. You get to do what you want. Like the Brenda Riddle one, all of them have, obviously, it's a mix of several collections, like 2 or 3 collections, but her fabrics, they always go together really well, right? So you can't go wrong. Even if you go scrappy, it looks cohesive scrappy. Let's say if I did this block and I did a few other sets of blocks that were totally different from this, I mean, if everything's like super scrappy, I see why not. I don't see why not. Yeah, I've seen some really, really super scrappy quilts and they have that super scrappy appeal to them. Yeah, I think that's all a matter of taste preference. Let's see. Starlin's here. Hello. Ooh, cotton and the silk quilt that was washed. And it's my great aunt's. Ooh, yeah. If it's been lasting and it's good quality, yeah, why not? Try it. I would try it. Yeah. Always experiment. Let's see, did I mix anything? All right, so I started with this block last week, right? And then I had to go back with my seam ripper, get all those solid greens out. Yeah, I think I like some print better than just all solid. And then I noticed was reading inside the Facebook group too, and the comments I was reading is assembling this block, right? If you just decide to assemble, let me reference the correct shape name, template D, the crowning star jewels, first before you add the crowning star edge pieces. If you attach this one not straight spot on, you might end up being little to the top or little well, let me flip this around so it makes more sense. If it's not spot on straight and then you go to attach your edge pieces, you might end up being a little off to the left or a little off to the right, and you might notice that your blocks, the edge pieces, are skewed a little bit. So what you want to do, I think this is the quickest, easiest way to get it as straight as possible, although you can wiggle it with just doing the crowning star jewel pieces first and then adding the edges later. Everything is wiggleable, okay? In EPP we can wiggle it all to fit, which is so nice. And so if I take these, where you want to start matching your shapes up as you're sewing them together, let me move these out of the way. What I like to do, take this next piece here, since I'm right-handed, this makes more sense for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and line these shapes up here, the edge pieces, the straight edge. Instead of lining it up to the center here, I'm going to make sure I line this up first, and it'll just fall into place too. So what I'll do, I'll start over here and make sure this side is lined up nice and straight. So you might have noticed if you went off the center when you assemble this unit together, sewn together, is that you get edges that are a little off. I'm exaggerating here just so you can see. You might see that they don't line up correctly, and then the next one, it's going to affect it too, and it'll keep on accumulating, and you get that odd looking edges, right? That'll snap together perfectly. So what you want to do to get these nice straight edges here, straight, see how nice and straight it is going around? What you want to do is take one of these units. Linda, it's about 14 inches across from point to point. It's a nice size block. So we want to go ahead and put these up right sides together and make sure this straight side is lined up. Can you see? Let me come closer, like so. You don't want this, right? Okay, this is like way exaggerated. So you want to make sure these two sides here are straight, nice and straight. So that way, after you sew this side together and you open it up, it'll be nice and flush over here. I wish I could have fussy cut these gingham squares better so they fit together, like snap together, like continuous, but we'll work with this. It's slightly scrappy. Okay, so I'll sew this one together since we're here together anyway. Let me grab my needle and thread. Let's see, Susan Williams likes this better. Awesome sauce. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, you forget what fabrics you have in your stash too, and it's good to come back now and then and like, oh, maybe I need to switch this out. And I forgot I had this fabric sitting in my shelf screaming at me, look lady, I'm right here. Let's do that. Oops. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Where the honking thing did it go? That one? Oh, there we go. It's zoomed in. Okay, I'm gonna make sure the long sides are lined up straight. I'm gonna start in the corner. Oops. And oh no, got it caught. There we go. Oh, there we go. do a second stitch. Make sure wrap it around the needle, hold it, and pull it through, and then you got a knot on the end there, so it's stuck, right? Okay, and now I can keep on sewing. And don't forget, you can always bend your block. Don't like twist your hand into a weird angle trying to hold your pieces together. Rather be comfortable and just fold your blocks. It's just cardstock, and then so that you're comfortable holding your pieces together as you're sewing them. And don't do what I do, like I'll get that death grip on my needle sometimes. I hold it like someone's trying to rip candy away from me or something's going on, and that's when you end up getting this weird cramp here in your muscle, thumb muscle here, because you're like, I'm gonna hold on to this needle and no one's taking it away from me, just leave me alone to EPP. So make sure, remember to relax your hands a little bit, and then we keep on sewing. And I think I saw a comment on the previous last week's live, stitch length. I think mine are between a 16th and an 8th, not a 1/4 inch apart. Those stitches would be too far apart for your project. They would come loose, right? So between a 16th and an 8th. You don't want stitches that are too tight so that it starts to look like a satin stitch in the back, because that way you're perforating your fabric too much, so you probably end up ripping it. And which one is this? Down. Pull it through. There we go. And once I'm in the corner, I'm going to take a second stitch through there. Excuse me. Wrap around the needle and pull through. Whew, to cough, it's like crazy. Okay, so now my side is sewn down. Right there. Oops, let's put this away. And if I open it up, this side is lined up nice and straight. And now I can just continue sewing this whole side on here. And as you can see, it falls into place really nicely, right? Let's see. Oops, let me scroll down. So those were the only major questions I saw that I wanted to make sure to cover today. If you have any other questions, just let me know. And when you keep on sewing, remember, just bend your paper and fold it into place. And fold those little tails out of the way, your little seam allows bit sticking out there. The second stitch, whoops, and wrap around your needle twice, hold it, and pull through. And then we just keep on sewing. So once you have your units sewn together with the crowning star, jewel, and edge pieces, this comes together even quicker. But if you're still not set on what you want for your crowning star edge pieces, then yeah, just sew down your crowning star jewel pieces first, if that helps you, to kind of visualize what you want for the edge pieces. So even if you end up adding the crowning star edge pieces separately after you've sewn the jewel piece on, always make sure to start matching up the long sides here. And then if there's a little gap connecting to the jewel piece next, then you can just wiggle it a little bit and it'll fit together. Oh, hi Nancy. Oh, your friend's picking you up for dinner. Oh, enjoy your dinner with your friend. Have a wonderful time. And in the corner, second stitch, the needles just sticking out, threads hanging on. The piece that's coming out of the fabric, we'll take that, wrap it around the needle, hold it down, and just pull your needle through, and you got a knot right there. Yes, just catch up on the replay. Have fun, Nancy. And so I got this whole side connected already, and then I just keep on going. And I don't know, LRR asked, what color and spool of thread do you all use? The one I'm using for this project is this thread right here. It is Superior Threads bottom line 60 weight in natural white. It's 100% polyester thread. If you're not a fan of polyester thread, you can also try Orifil 50 weight and Orifil 80 weight. And let's see. But yeah, thread choice is really a big, personal preference. And you'll probably notice, yeah, everyone here inside with us today too, they all have their favorites as well. So yeah, I always experiment. I experiment with the lots of threads. A lot of times I'll just use the Orifil cotton thread too. And then this one, I have a lot of this thread, and it's always on my desk, so it's nice and handy. Plus it's super fine, and when you have this whole big mix of colors, you can't really see the thread anywhere, right? The stitches. And it's all done with whip stitching. No flat back or ladder stitching. It's all whip stitched. And if you do see a few stitches, I'm okay with that. But it's not too bad, right? You don't really see the stitches too much. You can see them here. But I mean, like, who's gonna look this closely at your quilt block or project, right? So you're fine. Yeah, speaking of stitches showing, how many here are concerned about your stitches showing or feel that that's just the charm of a hand stitch project? I think too many folks are too worried about their stitches showing, and I don't think you should be. It's all part of the charm. Let's see, and Zaza uses bottom line too. Yeah. Can you tell it's cold? I'm wearing like this super thick sweater. Yes, I live in sunny California. And when it drops below 60, it's cold. Let's see. And okay, yeah, see, Zaza doesn't mind her stitches showing. Oh, Caroline just tried kimono silk thread. It disappears really well, but the needle comes unthreaded a lot. Have you tried knotting your thread to your needle? If it's so slinky that it falls out, you could try that because it's so fine. I don't think your knot's going to interfere when you pull it through the fabric. Oh, and someone asked too, when you sew through, you don't sew through the paper. You're right on top of the edge here. So we're just grazing right above the paper and just catching the fabric. Can't see like that. And if you end up catching a little bit of the fabric, I mean the paper inside, that's fine too. Just that when you remove the papers, you want to be careful so that you don't tear your project apart. I mean, I sewn through the top edge of my paper lots of times, and then it looks like it's one of those perforated papers. After you pull them apart, they look jagged. It has little teeth on top. That's what my shapes look like if I go too close when I am sewing my shapes together. Let's see. Ooh, almost pulled it through. No. There we go. And yeah, if you use a thread that is too thick, then yeah, it's definitely gonna show more. So the finer the thread, the less your stitches will show, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, maybe you try the thread that's too thick, and if that bothers you, then try a thinner thread, a finer thread. See, Julie doesn't mind the stitches showing. Yeah, you can definitely match colors. I'm too lazy to match my colors. Usually when I start with one color, I just stick with it throughout the whole project. But yeah, like for these, I could switch to a pink thread and it will show even less, right? It would just blend in with the fabric. And Starling's using 100-weight silk thread. Oh, you like the white but not the gray? What have you tried your gray on, Starling? And Teresa doesn't mind stitches showing. And let's see. Yes, see? The thinner threads will really help the stitches disappear. And Starlin says, I don't want a massive amount showing, but I don't mind a few. Yeah, I mean, it just adds to the charm. Oh, here we go. Wendy switched to kimono silk and love it. I tie 2 knots in it next to the eye and it slides through the fabric like there. Yes. So what she's saying, tie a knot right next to the eye of the needle, and the knot will basically just stay buried in the eye of the needle and it won't snag on the fabric as you're pulling the needle through, right? So good. Oh, so Caroline tried mastering but haven't mastered it. The knots are too large and had trouble getting through the fabric. Oh yeah, if it's too big, then it's definitely gonna get stuck. So you want to bury it inside the eye of the needle too. Let's see. Starling says, I'm using the gray on my second printing start because it's a darker material. It just keeps breaking. Oh no! Also the tension, oh, even though you're applying the same tension as the white. Oh, interesting. It is interesting, yeah. See, yes. Kathy says, I was self-taught in EPP, so my stitches show on the quilt I finished and I don't care. No, it is a-okay. Becky says, anyone who looks at the back of your quilt is not your friend. LOL. Okay, yeah, and so Kathy says here, I don't mind seeing stitches, but I also try to make sure mine are hidden because I'm hard on myself. I'm an Orfil 50 weight convert. Yeah, I think you are the one that are your biggest critic, right? Because you're the one that knows each little detail that went into your project. So you notice things that you don't think are air quote perfect, but no one else is really gonna notice or see it. So maybe give yourself a little more grace, right? I think we all need to give ourselves more grace. And this is for fun and we should enjoy the process. Yes, 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 yes. And last one, I knot it and then come up. So now my thread's getting too short, so I'm just gonna trim it down and start a new piece of thread before I finish my last connecting side here. Let's see. Right? Done is better than perfect. Yeah, I think, I don't know if it's with age as I'm getting older, perfection is really overrated, and I think a lot of times it just stops us from doing things or making things or even sharing or showing things because we don't think it's perfect. And honestly, I think we're just being too hard on ourselves, like 99.9% of the time. And I'm just gonna pick up where I left off. I'm gonna line that up. I fold my paper. Second stitch. And I'll just take the thread that's coming out of the fabric, wrap it around my needle, hold it down with my left hand, and pull the needle through. And then I got knot again. And I can just keep on stitching my way up this side. And notice how I just lift up this little tail there, so it's out of my way. And once you're done with your block and press it, just press the seam allowances back into their spot. Just finger press for now, and then it'll lay nice and flat again. But I don't like to sew through all this bulk here. Let's say if I left that down, I like to open if I can. Just go through the back. And now that I'm in the corner, take a second stitch, wrap, hold it down with my left hand, and pull it through. Okay, we got it all secured. See, a whole unit sewn on. So now I have half done, and I just need the remaining 3 sewn on, and then I have a finished block. Ta-da! Secure it there, and just trim it. I could technically just keep on going with the same piece of thread since it's connected, and just keep on going. Byung, 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 byung. Any questions? Let's see. Oh, Kathy bought a new brand called Sim Thread, and it's cotton, feels nice, but it tangles like crazy. Oh no, we don't want thread that tangles. What is it, a specific weight thread for stitching or quilting, Kathy? Wonder why it tangles. Let me switch camera view here. So I think that made sense, right? What I did. So even for the next one, line up your unit here, and don't go off this center here. Line these sides up first so they're nice and straight across. Straight here. Then you do that by putting the right sides together. Tap, tap, tap. Make sure they're nice and straight, and then start sewing from the top and go all the way around, and then the next piece. Oh, Wendy, do you like thread magic? What was the one before Thread Magic? The company that went out of business. I forgot their name. Used to come in the little square container. I had that, and I thought it would help me, but maybe because down to the fact that I'm too lazy to use those thread conditioners. I'm like, if it's not stitching without it, ain't working for me. Oh, so Kathy's using beeswax. Oh, it seems to be mostly marketing for quilting and embroidery, probably for by machine. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's for, yeah, embroidery machines. Those threads are quite different. Yeah. Yeah, let me switch camera view. Paste camera. Where am I? There we go. Oh, maybe I should do this. Yeah, there we go. Janie really likes thread magic. Awesome. I haven't tried thread magic. I only tried the thread magic is the one that comes in the round little container, right? I've only tried the one that comes in the square little thing. Oh, so Wendy uses thread magic when she binds quilts and use double threads. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And Zaza recommends trying threading it the other way from the spool so that you can help with tangles. Yeah, lots of spools that are wound this way around the spool. When you undo it, you might see like it looks like a corkscrew almost. So even letting the thread relax a little bit, that might help with tangles. Yeah. And Zaza has just a lump of beeswax instead of proper conditioner. I mean, it's the same thing, isn't it? All my beeswax little sewing notions, they always get really, really hard. But here you can heat those up, right? Let's see. So I hope this helps making your blocks look more flush here on the edges. Right here. So like I was saying, even if you add the crowning star jewel and then come back in to add the edge pieces later, what you might notice is that let's see, it is centered up. What you might notice is that when you're sewing the edge piece and you're matching these sides up, that there's a slight gap here, right? This gap is totally wiggleable. We just invented a new word, okay? It is totally wiggleable because it is EPP and your fabric is wrapped around paper, right? So if you notice that there's not this big a gap, is not that good, right? But just a little gap because you line this side up first here, the edge. If you notice there's a little gap, it's A-okay. When you put your pieces right sides together after you've sewn this side on, then just squish them a little bit. You get that little wiggle room because it is EPP and you won't notice it on the end. In the end, when you take the papers out and press, it'll look fine. Let's see. Oh, and Jenny suggests if your thread is tangling, try knotting the end that is closest to the spool instead of the end that went through the needle first. Yeah, just do a flip. So there's little tips and tricks and that you can experiment with, see if it helps with the tangling. And if it still tangles, then I say you deserve a new spool of thread. Different brand perhaps. Let's see. All right. And Sasa said, Jenny, that's what I was trying to say. All right, I love it. Yes. And if you don't have any other questions, we're almost at the hour. So just little tips and tricks for you to assemble the blocks again, because that's the one I've seen the most questions about, getting these pieces to look nice and flush with each other. And remember, if you just sew the crowning star jewel first and you notice that there's a gap here in between the edge and the jewel piece, when you sew them together later, it is okay. You can just squish it a little bit when you're sewing the fabric, and once you take the papers out and press, you won't notice it. Let's see. Yeah. And Starlin said Tula Pink has a video that explains the difference between the 50-way thread and the machine thread. It's the way that they're wound on the spool. Yeah, there's straight winding, and then there's spool winding. Like this spool, it's meant to go on it's a cone, right? See how it's diagonally wound? So this thread is meant to go straight up and then into your sewing machine via like the extension thing that you put next to your sewing machine. If it's straight across, like do I have one here? You'll notice on your thread that it's just going straight across. Those bobbins, those cones are supposed to go in your horizontal thread holding jigama thing on your sewing machine. So these always go straight up, and then you feed the thread straight up, right? And then it comes to your sewing machine. When the thread is wound straight across, it's going this way on your little sideways horizontal looking arm on your sewing machine. So just two different ways of holding your thread spool. And I think that's it. Yeah. So the whole quilt has 13 full blocks. Depending on I think once your fabrics are determined and you're kind of set on the layout, since it comes together fast, we should have theoretically 3 blocks done this week, and I think another 3 blocks is doable if you can keep up, and if you can't, that's fine too. And then next week I'll show you how to, since if you're just doing the blocks and up to this week, that's plenty for you. And if you're doing the quilt, next week I'll show you how to base the crowning star triangle pieces, the triangle star triangles. What did I name them? Hold on. These pieces, I'll show you how to base these that go in between your blocks, so you can start working on these too. Dun, da, da. Let's see. And then that's funny. All our lives the spindle is vertical and the thread is wound straight. Oh, interesting. Huh. Yeah, the thread holders that come straight up, that's like an extension, like you see on overlock machines. If you put the thread that's wound just straight across your spool in one of those, the thread will keep on snagging. So you want something like a little arm that'll hold it away and unravel like so. It's interesting, yeah, the way they manufacture threads different ways to, how would I say, to unthread in different directions. Gah! So much easier to show than talk about it. But yeah, if you're on your sewing machine and you have 2 different arms for holding your thread, one that goes this way and one that goes that way, try your different spools and see how the thread comes undone, and you'll notice the tension is different even coming off the spool. Yes, the diamond triangle. Julie, thank you. So I'll show you how to base these little bits and pieces so that they'll all fit together nicely next week. And if they are going to be cohesive with your blocks too, notice how it's all the same fabrics that I used in the little star pieces here, star triangles. Or if you're doing something different, then you can think of fabrics for these, but you don't need a whole lot. There are smaller pieces here, so I think that'll be fun. And so hopefully by next week you'll have 6 blocks done. And we can start making our little triangle blocks. Let's see. And if you have any questions, post them on YouTube and or do come into our Facebook group, and that way there's a whole bunch more folks that can help you out too. If you have any questions or you get stuck or you need some help deciding on fabric choices because you can't decide, show us different layouts and ask us, vote. Which one do you like better, A or B? And then you can get some feedback that way too. And if there's nothing else, I don't see any other questions. And I know there's a lag, so I'm gonna give it like a few seconds. But if there's nothing else, I'll see you all next week. Same time, same place. What do they say? Same bat channel, right? Pow, pow, pow. And I will see you all next week, and we'll work on these triangles. Woohoo! Oh, hi, Lucy! Catching the tail end again. Yes! But the replay will be right up, and I will see you all next week. And Zaza said, I'll be happy if I get one done. I'm off to cut my fabrics and base some papers. I'll be trying my new templates. Woohoo! Ooh, have fun! Can't wait to see! Julie, you're not behind. You're right where you should be. Alright, we'll see y'all next week. Bye!